Hi, this is Mrs. Kidman, and in this video, we are going to be discussing what quadratic functions are. So remember, we talked about this briefly in the last unit, but when we are referring to quadratic functions, we are talking about functions that are polynomials with a degree of 2. So most commonly, we talk about seeing the parent function of a quadratic function, and that parent function is usually in the form of f of x equals x squared. Now, as we take a look at what this graph looks like, we can put those points in, see what happens, but really what we're looking at is we're looking at a shape that's kind of this U shape, where it's decreasing on one side, increasing on the other. In future videos, we'll talk about some of the characteristics of these quadratic functions. But a big thing is just that these quadratic functions are anything of degree 2. So we most commonly see them in this form of f of x equals ax squared plus bx plus c. Now that's one way to write it. This is called standard form, but we will also be discussing in future videos the other types of forms that we might see. We are going to be talking about what happens when we have a factored form, and factored form usually is f of x equals some x minus p times x minus q. So that's usually our factored form, which you can see is when our polynomial is factored. And we also will be talking about another form called vertex form, and that vertex form is going to look very familiar to the function of an absolute value, but instead of our absolute value signs, we have parentheses, so that vertex form is going to be something like this. Okay, so this is called a vertex form, and as we go throughout this unit and check out these different types of forms, we are going to be graphing them. We're going to be writing equations, given different things. We're going to be changing from one form to the other because each form has its own unique characteristics and it provides us different information. So sometimes we want one form versus the other. So this is kind of an introduction to what quadratic functions are. They have a degree of 2. They are generally written in one of these 3 forms, and they're always going to look like this U shape, where one side decreases and the other side increases. Now, our U shape might be looking like this. We might have something that looks like this. The width might change of it. The location on our axis will change, but that is a quadratic function.